Hey, I'm Sophia Miles, and this is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Ho, ho, hello. It's still Christmas. This counts. That is still good. It is Orthodox Christmas today. So for all of those people who celebrate Christmas today, January 7th, Merry Christmas! Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. If you are on that, and it's my mic really, really loud, I think it is. So I'm just going to turn that down just a hair. So yes, Merry Christmas to those who are celebrating today. Thank you for joining us, and happy everything else for the rest of us. We've got a great show tonight. When don't we, of course? We are reviewing The Sirens of Time from Big Finish Audio, starring the fifth, sixth, and seventh Doctors. That's 1, 2, 3 Doctors today. And we've got a great group of people to do that with. So why don't we start with the one and only returning from our philosophy is, hey, Sean, how you doing?
Hello there. I'm doing good.
I'm so glad you were able to to make it onto the show tonight and join us for this.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was doing an Obi-Wan thing and my voice cracked. That was a great way to start the show. It was awesome. Almost a great start.
Hey, I was in the studio behind the scenes for 10, 15 minutes with my microphone turned down. I was talking to you guys, trying to, nope. Pop over to where Michelle was. Nope, nothing.
Did you think we were just all ignoring you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Aww.
But I mean, I'm used to that. I'm not used to that from Christian. That happens all the time. When it's Christian, I'm lucky if he doesn't just boot me out of the show. But speaking of Michelle, though, we do have the wonderful hello there.
Hello.
How are you and the TARDIS Archives doing?
I am doing very good. We are snowed in here in Virginia. Where I was at, we had like 4 inches of snow, which for us is a big deal. So, yeah, fortunately, we do have plenty of food, so we have not resorted to cannibalism yet.
Silly children, and you're thinking that's real snow.
I know. We're blessed. Because originally I came from California and we had no snow. So 4 snow, even after 10 years, 4 inches after 10 years, that's still a lot for us.
I mean, 4 inches is worth noting as snow, I suppose.
Yeah,
it's not like it's just a dusting. It's not Vancouver. Vancouver, no. They'll get a dusting and shut everything down. Hey, Dan.
It snowed, and then we had ice, and then it snowed again.
Yeah, that is not fun. But I promise it is not my fault. Y'all were blaming me on it. Not me. I love you all. I don't want you to have all the snow. I want all of the snow and all of the cold to be here in a couple of weeks when I leave. That's my goal. I want to be sitting there in Christian's, on Christian's deck going, I'm loving this wonderful hot weather. Oh, look, it's blizzarding back home in -40. Sorry.
But you can come back with the tan.
Yeah. No, I'll be inside my whole trip. I'll be inside for 90% of it.
Because you can burn really easy if you're not used to it.
Nah, I'm not. I don't actually burn all that easily, but I've got MegaCon, Pensacon, Gamma Expo, SaltCon. The only time I'm outside will be when I visit Disney and some of New Orleans. I can live with it, but otherwise, I'll hide and just go. It's warm. I'm happy. All right, but enough of the talking about the weather. I will bring up the man with the deck that I'll be on soon, Mr. Christian Basil.
Not a deck, it's a patio. I wish I had
patio,
a deck.
Whatever.
That would be great. It's nice.
Well, you're in Florida. Don't you have a lanai?
What's that?
Lanai, wherever it's supposed to be. It's an enclosed porch.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So got the patio out in the back. I call it the patio. The lanai.
I mean, technically, a deck is raised.
Yeah, that sounds better than back.
That's what they call it on Golden Girls.
Oh, okay. But that wasn't real Miami, though.
No.
That was a cardboard cutout of a house. That wasn't real Miami. So, what's going on? Oh, no gazebo. No
gazebo.
Long story about that word gazebo out there with my HOA, but I will tell it on a later date. But Happy New Year to everybody. Oh, the story is hysterical. But Happy New Year to everybody. I want to thank Dave. I'll get this right one time. And all the team who came in on New Year, on Christmas and New Year's to do the episodes and the review for Joy to the World. Thank you so much. And then again, HOA.
Yeah. Hey, makes some great Reddit stories.
Yeah, I wanted to throw in an acronym, be funny, and call it Hell on something. So I was just like, I can't think
Hell on acid in some cases.
I'll call it HOA. Hey, Mr. Candyman, there you go. Speaking of Candyman, here we go. Segue. We got a panelists coming in today, and we are introducing something.
Candyman.
It's not Candyman though. But we're going to bring her on. And for those of you who've been going like, okay, when's the Who Knew News coming back? When we're going to talk about that? Yep, we're bringing the Who News back. and I want to introduce the lovely Gadget, who's going to be our Who Knew News correspondent. And
I can find.
And Gadget, what was one of the things that you asked me to do to for the Who Knew News?
Something cool. It was something cool. Something cool.
Dave, do we have something cool for her?
Something cool? I mean, we could just do that. That's kind of cool.
That's cool. That's kind of cool.
But that's pretty cool. I think we can do cooler though. Here, let's try that.
That was a spoiler.
Okay, that's better than what we had prior. That's better than the other podcast that we were working on. That's actually better. Wait,
And fair.
that one. That's actually pretty cool.
I paid good money for that.
That's a good one. That is a good one. But the sad part is that thank you, Disney, for blocking a lot of our news that we can't tell if it's real or not. You know, because unless you are living in the UK, I'm seeing so many rehashed stories and everything. The only sweet thing that I've seen so far is Clementine. And that was actually Karen putting out everything on her. And she is adorable and everything. But I feel bad for Nashuti because I just saw something that he could have been part of an Oscar nominated film. But because of shooting and everything and stuff, conflict of interest, he missed out on it. And they had to recast the character and everything. And the person who was writing it, directing it, was saying I really wanted Nashuti for it, but what can you do? That says when you're contractual. And speaking of contractual, it's Matt Smith. They keep saying they want him back as the master, the Valley Yard and everything, but he is so contractual to House of Dragons and everything right now. We don't know if we're ever going to see him as part of Who and everything culture again. He does want to come back, but who knows? But we need to figure out how to get you the truth out there and not these old stories that have been surfacing and stuff, because that's been going around since 2023 that Matt wants to come back. But the only one I really loved the most, because she did arrive as a New Year's Time Lord and everything, little Clementine.
I'm trying to get
for those who are not trolling the internet and who is Clementine. I know, but tell our viewers who is Clementine.
Well, okay, viewers, if you have been living under a rock and you know your Disney, you know your Doctor Who and everything, this one actress has always been Karen Gillan. She, Nebula, and Amy Pond and everything. We have our little pond right there.
She's the size of a planet.
Isn't she adorable and everything? Yeah. Clementine. Even Karen put on her page a little song for her Clementine and everything. And that was like the best news, that the new year was brightened with that smile, you know?
Oh. Mm-hmm. So congratulations, Karen, on getting Clementine. Congratulations.
And I cannot wait to see that little Time Lord be part of Doctor Who lore also, because somehow that baby's going to end up on that show.
I want to say for the record that I, too, was living under a rock. So thank you for informing me. I was like,
I didn't know until her Instagram. It just popped up on when I was finger scrolling Instagram, and just boom. By the way, she's got a kid.
She surprised everybody. That was like the greatest news for the new year. If you've been sad or anything, just to see that little light come into everybody's life and everything, I'm proud that she was able to put those pictures out without any trolls, without anything, and that everyone was welcoming this little angel. Granted, she's going to get a lot of presents now at these conventions and everything for Clementine. But I hope they're very baby-oriented presents, you know?
Yeah, best of luck. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting to see if someone brings her water.
Just get a whole bunch of oranges.
Yeah.
Imagine, I bet you somebody will crochet an orange onesie for her or something, you know what I mean? Or a Clementine onesie or a dress and everything.
Or the cradle.
Mm-hmm,
yeah, all of the
I would love to see the fans, what they would do now, because we still have one more Who that hasn't dropped yet, and we don't know yet. I'm hoping she has a boy and everything.
Jenna's in.
Oh,
Jenna. Yeah.
I thought Jenna was a little bigger than when Karen. I thought she.
That's I'm wondering if it's a boy and everything. If she's gonna have the boy, and then that would be so cute. You know.
I want everybody to hashtag Clementine as the ultimate ginger.
Oh yes, I'm waiting to see because her dad has
red
dark
hair is
hair.
coming in. Is that red hair coming in?
I don't know. Her dad has dark hair because if you see Dad looking like, you know. But I think the ginger might show because look at the little front on her, you know.
These little hair clip, like a little stem and leaves.
Make her
little
pebbles.
Clementine bits.
You guys,
Little
our
bow.
team single-handedly is going to manifest just a little ginger.
Just a little ginger.
I still want her to be a little Time Lord, you know. Let her come back as another Doctor, you know.
You can see that.
I mean, Karen was in there as a background, and then all of a sudden she became to the front ground. You know, who knows?
And the baby is useful on many times because you know, here's
Especially
a baby.
toddler.
Here's a teenager.
You know, at this point, they could almost do a full season just cast with the descendants of the Doctor Who actors at this point.
That could be.
Doctor Who
There's
Space
River Song
Babies?
as a baby. There's River Song as a baby. We needed a baby River. There's baby River.
I thought that's where we were coming down to, like
And half of them
20
will be
years
from
from now.
and half of the actors will be from the Peter Davis and David Tennant line.
There you go.
Oh yes, that's another. Yeah.
It's already been
A
crowned.
full family tree right there.
Yeah.
It just goes this way, this
What's
way,
the
this way,
best
this
gift
way,
a
that
man
way.
could have given the fifth Doctor? A grandchild.
Yeah.
That whole thing's a paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
one
but-
thing Steve Davison in an interview said it was really awkward to write the father of the bride speech because always the joke is, you know, a woman will look for a man like her father.
Yeah. Who knew?
Grandpapa.
And that is the craziest thing.
Kathy,
Yeah, but
what
like-
else we got in the news today?
And then, like I said, with Nashuti, his scheduling conflicts and everything.
Stan, that's so
Yeah.
bad.
What did he do?
Well, no, bring it back up. If that baby turns into a button,
Oh no! I was waiting for somebody.
Dan, you
It
know
wasn't-
somebody. You know somebody on the internet's going to grab that clip.
Yeah. And
At
then,
least,
yeah.
at least the child wasn't conceived in the
Clementine.
TARDIS.
That we know of.
Karen, how's baby Clementine? I was like,
Or no, somebody will turn it into a bunch of clementines, you know?
It was a lonely day in Blackpool.
God. Congratulations, Karen. You're
It
Never
is.
mind.
We're all on.
Never
We won.
You know that we have 1 degree of separation from that family. So they're probably looking at us like, oh God.
A healthy V1 is always a joy.
Mm-hmm.
and as
Especially
part
when
of
we have Caitlin is on my friends list of Facebook and she's got she's got a new baby cousin now, you know, and everything.
And as part of the Who Knew News, we want to thank everybody who got us over the hill again. There we are, 47,000 and closing.
I
on
want to know who that 50 is
55.
going to be.
I do too. And they're probably in some place I will not be able to reach. It would be like, I'm over here on the other side of the planet. Dang it. What's his name? So yeah, please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for getting us to this goal, and we're hoping to reach the big 50 by hopefully the end of this month. So thank you all, every one of you, all 47,001 got us over the hump. Thank you. So thank you much on that.
Now, everyone who's watching and who's subscribed, get your significant other and or kids to also subscribe. And let's not hit 50,000 by the end of the month. Let's hit 100,000.
And guys, we're live. So you got bloopers galore. Things can happen when we're live, you know?
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
friends, your neighbors, the people you may not necessarily like. You don't have to talk to them. You know, just subscribe them.
Hack people's account.
He
Subscribe.
just wants a plaque on his wall.
We all want the plaque.
Look, this-
We all want the plaque.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with bling bling in this
Yep.
world.
Alrighty. Well,
I mean, this is just
we're gonna
yeah.
go over there with my words, but I don't know if it'll fit in that space.
So I'm
Anyways.
hoping when we do our Who Knew News that we get more accurate news because, like I said, we are so on lockdown because it is the start of the new season. Everybody's under contracts. Everybody's got now the new rules and everything because another sort of meta company decided to get rid of their third-party fact checkers. So we might be able to get more news out there, but we don't know if it'll be fact-checked. It's going to be based on everybody. So maybe we'll start seeing more Doctor Who stuff come out now that it's not been roadblocked and everything.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anything's possible.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Dave, take it
Yeah.
away. Let's go ahead and review this thing.
All right. So that's
Yeah.
the end of the news.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk something a little bit older. When did Sirens of Time come out? I forgot to check originally.
1999.
1999.
1999.
I believe
All right.
Oh, before the apocalypse. Okay.
Because
There you go.
this is the 25th anniversary of both Big Finish and the Sirens of Time, which was the very first episode of Big Finish.
Nice.
Of the Doctor Who Big Finish, I should say.
Yes.
Mhm.
So there we go. And we had not one but 3 doctors in this. It was definitely it's an interesting thing. You can get a couple different versions of it. I noticed that in the app, there's actually 2 variants of it. And I don't know what the difference is because I only looked at one of them. But it is it's Big Finish, and we get multiple doctors. So let's look at it. Same process as all the rest. We'll do our ratings out of 5 Tardi and see what we go. And since Gadget made a laugh, Gadget can go first. What's your rating?
Well, like I said, Big Finish, we need to talk because being dyslexic, I can't. I don't know what it is or anything, but this one got me confused even more. And even though the story sounded good and everything, I'm just gonna give it a 7 because the other 3 is because it's not made for a dyslexic. Like this one I had to download in chapters because it wasn't the full story to continue through. So I thought maybe that'll be easier. And no, I was like, the only reason I know certain voices is because I met certain doctors, but otherwise I'm lost. I didn't know where the hell they were half the time. And if it was the same person they were talking to or another thing, and then it went wibbly wobbly at one point, and I'm like, what the hell did I listen to? And my poor cat was even trying to figure it out too. I even sent them a video because it was like, we're trying to figure out, like, because it was just out of like, yeah, it does not work for a dyslexic who needs to read and see things. Yeah.
That's valid. Give us a number. So 7, you said.
7. Yeah, 7.
All right. Well, then let's move around the circle and go with Michelle. What number did you give?
I like this one a lot because actually this was my introduction to Big Finish a couple of years ago when I found it for free on Amazon Sounds. So this is my introduction, and is it a perfect story? No, but just for the sheer enjoyment of it and the nostalgia of it, and because it made me love of Big Finish audio. I want to give this a 9.
Okay.
Wow.
That's fair. And what about you, Sean? What do you give this?
It's out of 10. We're doing
We'll do out of 10.
like TARDISes out of 10. Yeah, I think I would give it I think I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. A solid 6 or a solid 3 stars. And I'll tell you, so I had actually heard this one before. It was I'm going to say I listened to this probably in 2015. That's when I was really getting into Doctor Who, because that's when it took off here in the States, like 2014, around that time. And I have to agree slightly with the earlier opinion that Big Finish can be a little hard to follow sometimes, because if you're not sitting there and just actively listening sometimes, and I'm not saying you weren't actively listening, but it has that quality of being a little bit evasive because things happen really fast, and sometimes characters can kind of sound the same, and the location, sometimes like the sound effects aren't super prominent in the mix, so you're like, wait a minute, what was that? I heard a big rush, what happened, right? So I kind of think of this story a little bit, well, Big Finish in general, sort of like I think of Classic Who.
Hey, Sean, I don't mean to cut you off. We're just going to do the numbers, and then we're going to go into the details about that. I don't mean to cut you off. I just no.
I'm only partway through my master's thesis. How dare you?
I'm just playing by the rules here.
I was only
How
going
we
to talk
doing on
until
this
I was only going to talk until midnight. How dare you?
I was
No.
just gonna let him go. I'm like,
I bet you
You
are.
had to,
we can tweak the format. It's okay.
you had to cause a time distortion to get me back. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's yeah.
You know what?
But
Just to,
I'm
make,
bad.
just to make everybody happy, let me put this up.
Spoilers! This is Sophie Aldred with The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Now we're appropriate. There we go.
Now we're appropriate. There we go.
Well, Sophie Aldred makes everything better. Now,
I know. So
Yeah,
Just don't
that's
show the
better.
picture of her again. The other one.
Ah, that's not me. That's not me.
She's gonna.
Oh, Mark's probably already told her. At this point, I'm probably screwed.
I'll just say
me,
6, and then we
give-
can go back to it. Yeah.
Got
Sorry.
it.
I'm still talking. Okay, I'm done.
You know what?
Welcome
forget
to the
me.
neurodivergent people.
Forget I had a rating. Let's just go on the show. God.
Yes.
Yeah. No. I'm gonna say 7.5. I'm gonna cut a TARDIS in half. I'm gonna break. Why am I fuzzy? Anyway, yeah, 7.5 is what I'm gonna rate it, and I can't wait until we get into the details about this, especially what Sean has to say.
Exactly.
It sounds like he's got the book.
Yeah, I wrote an entire novel.
Yeah, there's a novel attached to this.
Is your razor a little bit dull? Maybe that's why you're fuzzy. I don't know.
No, it's you know what? I made a mistake of
in bringing me onto the show, maybe.
Shut it. I made a mistake and I went to a barber and I said, it was going to be new me, new year, and I said, go ahead and trim it. And for whatever reason, that translated into cut the damn thing off. So he cuts the entire thing off, all my sideburns, and does something weird with my hair. And I just did not look right. So I'm glad I wasn't on the last 2 episodes. I'll let this damn thing grow back. And it was like,
let the barbers at Disney do it.
let the barbers at Disney do it. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Dave, speaking of openings, you're not the only one. I want to open this little bad boy when we get to the end of the audits. But
you have the. Wow.
Yep. This is the box set, and we're gonna see everything inside. I want to show you guys what's inside that little box. But yeah, I
now
splurged.
Is that the re-release or is that like an older version you found?
No, this is the Redux.
Oh, okay.
I got that one too.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I got the Redux, but we're gonna open that bad boy. So
I'm surprised they were able to use that version of the logo. On the box. They don't have the diamond in there.
Oh, that's right.
and that's legit.
Thanks, Candy Man.
That's the fight. I know that Cubicle 7 had to fight to get that diamondless logo onto the Doctors and Daleks books.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Big Finish has got something codes with the BBC to move around things. Especially when you think about it, most of the people who were at at Big Finish worked on the show major for the majority of the part.
Or you can make an argument that Big Finish helped bring the show back too.
That's true.
They were still on the market for it.
It bridged the gap between the TV movie and the 2005 extension. So
and the ending of some of the novels too. Yeah.
What I'm laughing about is my cousin worked for Fox, and he has a bunch of the Doctor Who. He said there was a bunch of those just promo tapes sitting there and stuff that they were just tossing out. Like, great. I said, you couldn't save me one,
Right?
Remember the days of VHS?
No, the BBC doesn't ever save things that people are throwing out.
That's true.
That was another thing that came up and everything. That why do people say there's no episodes? Because they either had to wash the cells, use the stuff, or during like certain things,
It's true.
Dave, you want to pay some bills and then we'll go into
let's pay some bills and then we'll come back and we'll let Sean finish his master's thesis.
Leave the neurodivergent people alone. We're neurodivergent.
We'll be right back with the review of the Big Finish Doctor Who, the Sirens of Time, when we return.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room. We played from the bathroom. Thankfully, that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night, we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Are you a movie nerd? Do you collect VHS, DVDs, CDs, records, and so much more? Are you looking for clothing from 1940s to 2000s? Do you need cosplay or themed outfits? Come to Ducky's Vintage. We have it all for all budgets, located at the Oviedo Mall right off of the 417. Ducky's Vintage for those born in the wrong decade.
Hello, I'm Nick Briggs, and you're listening to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. I say Traveling Time Lord.
Do it again. Just do it again. Just for the count. Okay. Just for the sake. Go ahead, Nick.
Hello, I'm Nicholas Briggs, and this is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Dum dum dum.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh. Dum.
No. All right, so we are back.
Stop right there, please.
From the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
I don't need a copyright strike because
dogs start howling. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I just had to say I'm running on I think 3 hours of sleep. It was one of those nights. But
that's great.
Oh,
so
I know.
I'm a little spacey.
You had one of those nights, like teenage nights.
Yep.
Oh God.
It was awful. It was terrible, and so I'm a little bit space cadet-y. So I'm even more of a lunatic than I usually am. Not that I'm not always a lunatic, but anywho, Sean, we interrupted you before here. You were saying you.
Oh, can you guys? I can't hear Dave anymore.
Oh, can you not? You can't hear me?
You said you were, and then I didn't hear anything after that. Can you say that again?
Oh, you. What were you saying before Christian? So, blunt
Shut
things
up. Don't you dare.
So really, no, you really didn't interrupt me. I mean, I would rather you tell me than me continue to see that, and therefore, when you consider, but what I was saying about this episode, or this story, I guess, was it reminds me a little bit of what's going on with Classic Who, right? Which is you kind of have to get to a point where you can vibe with it. I mean, I very much consider New Who to be very active watching. If you start watching Classic Who in the middle of a story, sometimes it all seems like a fever dream, right? Because you're like, oh, wasn't there something about a girl with something green on her head, and then that one guy caught on fire, and then they fell off the edge of a ship? Like that's kind of what Classic Who is like if you start in the middle. And this had a lot of weird stuff going on. I thought it was a little bit convoluted. I thought a couple of the plot elements just kind of didn't need to be there. It could have been a little bit more tightly wound, but it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it, but I kind of had to listen to it a little bit more passively as I was doing other things. But I mean, technically, I thought it was really good. I thought some of the acting, you had a couple of hilarious moments here and there with like a couple of the deaths, like a couple of the death screams, kind of were a little overacted, like little things like that. I thought maybe there was a lot of effects used on the voices sometimes, but I do enjoy it. I mean, Colin Baker's great, Peter Davison is great, Sylvester McCoy is great, and like I've watched almost all of their stuff, like as a whole. I've watched almost all of their eras of Classic Who. And any problem I've ever seen with the stories has never really been them, So, of course, the story is always going to be perfectly enjoyable when they're in it. So, yeah, that was my 6. I hope that answers your question. But
yeah, that's and sorry, remind me because I just again had to speak. What did you rate it again?
It was a 6 out of 10. Yeah,
That's what I thought. Okay.
6 out of 10 traveling TARDISes.
Love it. All right. We've got the three doctors who's kind of peeking up over the banner. It's kind of amusing.
I like that. There were when I looked around, there were like different versions of the cover. I don't know if these are authentic versions or
Those are fan made.
Fan made, but this is the actual.
Because that version of Sly's never been on a Big Finish that I'd ever seen. But yeah, okay. So next up, then let's go to Gadget with a 7.
Yeah,
I'll give mine at the end because post prerogative and all that.
Post prerogative.
Gadget, what you gave it a 7?
Yeah, like I said, I thought I'd try again because after the last one we reviewed, I thought maybe it was just the format, maybe it was an older format or whatever, right? So when I went to download it, it downloaded into chapters all out of order, and I was like, oh great, now I gotta get them back into order. Then I was like, okay. Then they were doing 30 seconds of the theme. 30 seconds. Like, this is crazy. And then when I finally could follow the story, I didn't know where they were, who was speaking at one point, and if it was the same girl that they were talking to, because they kept saying, you look familiar, and everything. And then at the end, I was like, was this all a time like on top of each other type of thing and stuff? And I'm like, that you had to go through that to have the ending happen, and then back to the beginning. And I was like, it went one of those timey-wimey things that was just like, yeah, if they didn't do what they did, they couldn't complete what they did. They couldn't open this up to let this one out, that out, and that they were supposed to do it because it was destiny, fixed time. And I remember the law with Doctor Who, fixed time, and I'm like, this and that they had to do. And I'm like, what did I listen to? There were some funny moments because they said they were floating on the TARDIS and the TARDIS exploded at one point. But, like, I didn't know who was talking to who. I just knew. So Syl was in one scene, Colin was in another, and Peter has that distinguished voice from when he was younger. Now it's a little closer to Syl's, I think, now and everything. And basically, it was just where I didn't know which doctor was first at the beginning. It just confused that out of me because, like I said, when I got to the end, I hear this guy talking, robotic talking. Then I hear the Sirens talking, and then they're like, "You had to do this to do this. You had to do this. That you can't change history. You can't change." And I'm like, "What did I watch or listen to or anything?" And I went back a few episodes, like few chapters, and I was like, "Did I get this right? Did I listen?" To me, it's unless there's a transcript with it. Like I said, because I'm so used to seeing the visual effects of the doctors, especially these three, because they are a bunch of crack ups in real life too, and everything. I mean, yeah, Syl especially. Do not leave him alone with anybody. He seems like he's shy and quiet. He is not shy and quiet. Don't just let him have his breakfast. That's all I'll tell you. Just let him have his breakfast, but he is not shy and quiet. And Peter, when I met him at New York Comic Con, he was like, "You look like my granddaughter." Like, he was like talkative to everybody. He would not leave the stage. Colin is a big teddy bear, So that's what I'm saying. Like, I love these doctors, but this episode just threw me off for a loop because the girl sounded the same in every part. So I didn't know if they meant that as like that it's one person playing three parts or whatever like that. But I was confused, like which doctor was talking first, which one, or did they all cross into the thing, or was it this other thing that that was trapped in because of the Sirens and all that? I got lost. I got lost.
Fair.
That's why I gave it a 7 because it was interesting, but it just the ending said you had like the wibbly wobbly part of it. Yeah.
Fair enough. What was the last one that we reviewed that you together? Because I don't
that one with the red cover.
So many of them.
There was that red cover one. Me, you, and David.
Mm-hmm.
It was the three of us. What was that one?
Multiple doctors in that one.
I think that was the other one where it had Sylvester. Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see what you have to say when it's not a multi-doctor story. See if that makes life easier
the next one that you guys had said, I wanted to look at that too and see maybe if it was me, because that's more of a newer Who than an older Who and stuff. And I'm not sure, because I did have a Sarah Jane Big Finish story that was given to me, and I had the same problem with that one because of all the kit, like everything and stuff. So maybe it has to be a single doctor, or like I said, Big Finish, do something that can be maybe like what Christian has, may have the wording in it, and I can read along with it,
I just for the record, since we kind of glossed past that, yes, the girl is the same person throughout all of them. That is the
okay, so it was the same girl.
Alerts, that's the twist.
And don't feel bad, even the actors admit they couldn't figure out what was going on either.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. So that's what we're making sure, yeah.
Being early on Big Finish definitely changes.
Yeah, there's lots on the outtakes. There's a lot of jokes of Peter Davison going, "I have no clue what's going on. I'm just I have no clue."
That's what I'm saying. Maybe because these are older, and then the newer ones, you know what I mean? Maybe I can understand those better,
My question was, were they in the studio together when they did this, or were they
were when they were filming together? They were
here.
In the studio.
They were all in the studio, but now today they can do it from home. They just read the lines and then just said something to the fact that, say this, whatever, or they'll have them redo it, and they can do it from home because COVID put everybody in the house. Yeah,
they've come a long way with that. There are some great photos of the three of them in studio together doing the doctor parts, and Peter is wearing a Hard Rock Gallifrey t-shirt.
Nice. Yeah, they've come a long way with that. And
that's next.
Because like when I was listening to it, I could hear like certain things, and I said, like, are they next to each other? Because they were feeding off each other, but it was almost like you could hear snickering. And that's what threw me off too. Like in some spots, you could hear snickering, and I didn't know what that was. I thought maybe that was the ship. I thought maybe that was the Moor. Like, were they in a Moor or something? I was like, I hear like like somebody following Syl. I was like, what the heck?
Sometimes it's not super clear, and I'm actually starting to think. Do you guys think I'm grading too harshly? Because I actually gave it a pretty positive review, but I graded it like more harshly, so now I feel like I'm a bad person.
Please,
you graded it the way
you want.
Right. This is your take on it, and you say
maybe Big Finish will hear this and be like, okay, maybe certain people aren't like that focused like that.
1999 maybe was the original, Mark. Sorry.
And also, they admit that they needed to do a big splash to continue to get the Doctor franchise. Right. They were going to do a Dalek story, but at that time they couldn't have the licensing agreements to the Daleks. They got it pretty quickly afterwards. So the next big thing to set off this company was we have to do a multi-Doctor story. And at that time, the Doctors who were available, who were willing to work and to do this, were Peter, Colin, and Sylv.
Mm-hmm.
I love this Big Finish trivia. You should do a spin-off just with Big Finish trivia. Like, you just tell us
we've almost done that a couple of times.
Yep.
For those who get, when you get it, they have like the end, they have like the extra kind of like the making of, and it's usually about 15 to 20 minutes depending on how long it is. Those are really good, and they have some really good stories behind the scenes, and sometimes you can hear outtakes, or they talk about. And the one for this one for the Redux was really good.
Yeah, I heard some of those for the Fourth Doctor adventures they did.
There's also one that's available for free on Big Finish. It's called Talking About My Regeneration.
Yeah.
And there was a CD that was done for the Doctor Who magazine. And it has the actress who plays Charlotte Pollard interviewing the main actors during this. And you get some great multi-Doctor banter where they just pick on each other in the interviewing.
I just had a realization that it's been that we're in January. That there's only a couple of months left before it's March again. We did all last year's March. We did all Big Finish. I mean, it was all the Master, but it was all Big Finish. Maybe we'll do another March of the Master.
Yeah,
if Kristen will allow me to do that. It went so well last time.
Master. Maybe
I still have that intro video.
That was an interesting one. I will say that.
It won't be the same Master. We've gotten through all of Eric's stuff. I'll have to pick a different format or something. But
Missy,
definitely
the Missy. Yeah, I want to explore Missy.
Do we know if they're doing anything with Sasha Dewan? Have they done that?
They are.
Yeah, they've already done it. I think
they've done at least one with them. Yeah.
And this year is supposed to be 13 and yes.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And they're also going to finally release the Fugitive Doctor set that's been promised for 2 years and is finally coming out.
Nice.
They're working on Eggleston too and everything, trying to see if he'll do another big finish and everything. There's also that and everything because they want to bring a lot of the old timers back, and that's why I'm hoping the technology gets better as we go and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Well, speaking of Missy, Michelle, you're next up.
Yes.
In the list. So.
And so I rated mine high just on the pure nostalgic level. Is it the greatest story? No. Is it the greatest story that Big Finish has ever done? No. But it sparked my love of listening to Big Finish. I love the classic era. I love the 80s. The Fifth Doctor is my doctor. So having that pure nostalgic level of having more adventures with a favorite incarnation, this is why I rated it really high. I think on this version, they did a really good job. The first, we listened to it in a straight the way it was released. Each doctor gets his own part. This one, they did a much more cohesive editing where you have the scenes with the three doctors throughout the episode, 3 parts before we have the finale with all of them together. And again, this is where it really serves well the characters. The writing gets who the personalities of the doctors are. So you really get, I love that the Fifth Doctor is a little bit snarky. And you really get to see that in the Big Finish. We get to see more of a heroic side of Colin's Doctor that we don't always get to see in the 2 short seasons that he was with or was Rob with. And then we get to see more of Sylvester. We're not seeing the devious doctor, so there's more than just being a carbon copy. And again, it's just it's a lark. It's a fun story. It doesn't make sense 100%. No, even the actors admitted it didn't make sense. But then again, it's just so darn fun to listen to.
Sense is overrated.
It's Doctor Who. Come on, it's Doctor Who. I mean, and I will if you listen to me on other podcasts, I always joke is I cry easy. But one thing I don't cry so much is audio, and the one about the Cybermen with the Fifth Doctor, that one made me cry.
Yeah, that's fair. So Christian, what about you?
What about me?
You've always got something to say.
Oh, good grief! Well. Let me get the brainy specs because I'm getting to that age. There we go. There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of that I got over there. And the first thing that came to mind, if anybody wants to go on to this, the TARDIS translator didn't work too well. If you remember, because she couldn't. What was it? The Doctor, the Fifth Doctor, and who else was it? I think. Let me. Ellie? Yeah.
Oh,
Ellen. Ellen, not Helen.
Helen.
Helen. Yeah.
Helen, yeah.
Is it Ellen or Helen? Helen. The TARDIS translator wouldn't work for her, which I thought was kind of weird because it worked for him. He was speaking a British type style of German. And I thought that was a little weirded that Helen didn't get the TARDIS matrix, or maybe there was some excuse, but they had to at that time before we knew about the TARDIS translator. He had to be able to translate German, and there he was, talking in this British tone. But Helen couldn't understand a word, and I kind of liked, that they tried to do it that way. But the TARDIS was there; that was the thing. So I guess that at this point they didn't know what was going to happen in 2005. One of the things I did like that each of the doctors got their own theme music back, whereas the original plays the classic 1 through 4th Doctor theme. This one bounced around the other themes. So it started off with the 5th Doctor and then ended up with the 6th Doctor occasionally. And then it would eventually go over to Sylvester's theme. So it almost sounded like the doctors had their own episode. What it was leaning in. The same way that a really weird, poor excuse. The same way when you watch the Transformers and you see the Autobot and the Decepticon logos flip, this is how I could relate to it. That their own theme was playing in there. So I thought it was cool that they had that going for them. I did like the fact that the CIA came back. I think there needs to be more of them. I don't hear them as much. I don't see them as much on TV, but I always consider them like the Torchwood of Gallifrey. They're the ones who always clean up the Gallifrey mess or do the things that, just like the Doctor, they're sent in, and when they see something bad, or what is it in Star Trek, especially with Deep Space Nine, Area 31 or whatever, that new series that's coming.
31, yeah.
Area 31, yeah, they were the Area 31 of Gallifrey. It was like Gallifrey sent them out, but they didn't want to know anything about that, and kind of in the same sense of the Doctor. I really took a weird offense when the Seventh Doctor says to his companion, I can't remember her name, but he said, "It's better than twisting your ankle." I thought that was a take on Sarah Jane Smith when she twisted her ankle. Or was that Susan in the Five Doctors? Yeah. It's like, okay. It's like, that was a little bit there. And I got to agree with you, Gadget. It did get confusing at times. I actually had to rewind the episodes a couple times to find out where I was in the series. Because if I'm not mistaken, Michelle, I did get a little lost in the original Sirens of Time. But when I heard the Redux, it sounded like it was more fine-tuned, and the sound effects were a little bit better for me.
It is. They said that they went back and then they cleaned up some of the master tape, and then they redid some of it.
Right, and then it felt like it was more linear. It felt like, especially with the theme songs. And then it was, oh, well, by the way, the Fifth Doctor's coming back, or the Sixth Doctor's coming back on that one.
It didn't sound tinny, right?
It didn't sound, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Nick Briggs says that he should have done it in the everyone gets their chapter versus being a full block. But at the same time, this is what they had to do to basically get the whole thing off the ground.
I only wrote this on the side over there, but I said every time we should have a shot game where anytime somebody says the Kurgan Wonder, somebody has to take a shot. It's just like saying it like, how many times have they said this? For once, I think it's Sandloff. For a brief moment, I hadn't heard this in a long time. I did hear the Sirens of the Sirens of Time a while ago in the original format, and then I listened to it again to hear the difference between the two. I thought in the original, Sandloff was the master.
Okay, so I wasn't going nuts. Okay.
No, they didn't have the right master.
Well, that was the direction I was going with that, because that's what he sounded like. He was all tied up and everything, and the way his attitude came out, it was almost master-ish. But I do have a question for the panel. Hang on one second.
Maybe he has a question for the panel.
I got a question for the panel, and this is something that I've long asked. Do you think the Doctor's compassion is his strength or his weakness?
Both.
Both is good.
It depends on
a little bit lengthy on this.
Like anything, it depends on the situation. I mean, it can be his strength or his weakness. The Fifth Doctor's compassion was so great it caused him to regenerate in the cage of Vanderzani. But at the same time, the Doctor's lack of compassion could have caused Perry to be killed in the next life.
Got it.
I think it's what sets him apart for sure. I mean, there's lots of, that's what makes the Doctor so different too. I mean, it just in a meta context from other male heroes, that are very swashbuckling. I get very bothered watching things, especially for kids, where it's like, this is the heroic guy, and I just stabbed that guy in the stomach, and it's like, yeah, the day's saved. It's like, and we had no moral qualms about that. That's what I kind of like about the Doctor. He has that compassion, he has that thought, and whenever he has to kill, he doesn't typically like that he had to do that. So I think it's a
good example is the Fourth Doctor with, should I destroy the Daleks now or later?
Right. Do I have the right?
I was actually thinking more of the Temperon. It reminded me of the Space Whale episode. Yeah. That was the one I was relating to, and when with the Space Whale, is condemned either live a life of either I kill all these thousands of people, or I kill the whale, or I save the people. I think that was a big dilemma. And the other thing is, let's just say that they had the rights to. The other question is, let's say they did have the rights to the Daleks from the Nation Foundation, from the Terry Nation Foundation. Do you think they should have started with the Daleks, or do you think the story fits enough just to have the three Doctors? Or you think the Daleks are just overdone?
I think the Daleks would have been overdone in context of this is the first thing. Box.
Yeah.
I think that would have been too much. I mean, It also depends. What did they have a plan? Like, was there a plan for Daleks and they couldn't get them? Did they release that later? Right.
How did they get them for the last one we reviewed?
Well, this is beginning. I mean, we have to go back. This is our way back machine. Take our TARDIS back to 1999, where Big Finish is only a couple years old.
Okay.
They've kind of done genre shows, and so the fact that they got from the BBC, Doctor Who kind of shows the BBC again didn't know what to do with it, and allowed them to have this really big franchise. Within a very short period of time after that, they were able to get the Daleks, but I think the Daleks would have overshadowed the Doctor, because a Big Finish heart is telling stories, and so we need to have what brings people into this series is the Doctors first. Then we bring in the spectacle with the Daleks and the Cybermen.
I agree. I mean, and I think if Doctor Who doesn't work as like a random thing, I think it doesn't work very well. I mean, I'm glad that they started with something super off the wall and original. I mean, I think it's kind of like Jodie's era started with Tim Shaw. Started with Tim Shaw, and like you could say that works or doesn't work, but it kind of felt like the rest of the series when they started with something random and original. I think like that's kind of the base level, and then if you can make that work, then you can bring in everything else. I very much agree.
And they needed something to be really exciting. Oh my God, it's three Doctors together that we haven't seen on TV really since that weird little Easterners thing in '93. Now we got them in a full story. Oh my goodness, everybody needs to run out and buy it. And then you'll start going, oh, okay, there's going to be monthly adventures now. They needed something that was going to be, oh my God, did you hear?
And at the time, the Eighth Doctor was kind of persona non grata at the time.
Yeah.
Right? The movie did so terribly. No one really appreciated it or Paul. And so it made sense to go with these three. And I mean, now you've got people clamoring for, can we have an Eighth Doctor spinoff, a special, something?
Between the novels and Big Finish is what made the Eighth Doctor. I mean, the fact that it is now, Big Finish is now considered canon when he had his regeneration and he mentioned his companions that were only in Big Finish.
So it's very interesting to see, this is one. It was their first, so the choices they had. I mean, Tom Baker was still going to be too big.
And he didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it, and they just 3 years before this, John Pertwee had passed away. So
so many stumbling blocks that could have completely disrailed not only this production but the company.
Well, in the extras, Nick Briggs says that he asked Sylvester McCoy. He said yes. He asked Colin Baker. He said yes. And he went finally to the Fifth Doctor, and he goes, "Well, Sylvester and Colin are in." And he goes, "Well, I guess I got to say yes too." But one of the funny parts about Big Finish is that they were going after Tom Baker, and they didn't think they were going to get Paul McGann, and it was the opposite way. Tom Baker didn't want to do it, but Paul McGann jumped in.
Yeah.
So because of the qualities of the stories that the 5, 7, and 5, 6, and 7 had done, that Paul McGann says, "Okay, count me in, guys."
Exactly.
Because it did him justice after the movie. So yeah.
I was kind of wondering why they didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I just want to answer, and then we'll get to you, Sean. There. I just want to answer Roger's question. They're not the Shadow Proclamation or the Papal Mainframe, right, Christian? No, they made their first appearance in Genesis of the Daleks. It was, I forgot the guy's name, but at the very intro, he's talking to the Doctor about taking out the Daleks forever, taking out, and that's where the two wires comes in. The CIA made some return in the Big Finish. I actually listened to Gallifrey episode, which actually has Juliet Landau as the third Romana, and the CIA do come back in. And for those of you who are not familiar, or just, it's called the Celestial Intervention Agency. And like I said, they're kind of the Torchwood of Gallifrey. When Gallifrey doesn't want anything to do with it or thinks it's not in their value system, in the same way that the Doctor would send out Jack Harkness to do something. It's like, oh, I can't shoot that, but Captain Jack would go out there and shoot it. The CIA was something. I actually had a bitter debate, Michelle, that I actually mentioned the CIA in a chat room, and the kid went off on me. He's like, he doesn't work for the CIA. And I said, yeah, he did. Just not the one you're thinking.
Not the evil one.
With me. What's that?
Not the evil one, but
well, technically, I think they're both evil.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I
Sean.
refuse to comment on the grounds that I still have to get across the border.
Okay, Sean, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go for it, brother.
No, you're fine. I was just kind of like saying that was interesting because I was wondering why Paul McGann wasn't like snatched up for the first one, but I guess that's like it was very early after the film. Like the film was '96, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this was 3 years later, and probably. The three Golden Boys, they were more like canonized and respected at that point. So they probably, not that I don't think Big Finish like snubbed him or anything, but I understand why they would probably want to start with like, that legitimacy of, okay, these are some of the Doctors that like you guys have known for longer. I get that. But yeah, Paul McGann, we still need more justice for Paul. Like,
everybody start the hashtag.
Yeah,
justice for Paul.
I think I think it just comes down to also one of the things I've been toying with is the idea, and I think I can speak, Michelle, on this one. I gave it a 7.5 25 years later. I'm curious what I would have given it if we did our podcast in 1999. I guarantee you that would have been like a 9 or a 10. I don't think I would have cared. I'm like, oh my God, Doctor Who's back. I want to give it a higher rating.
Yeah.
So I'm always like thinking when I made my call on 7.5, I'm like, am I doing this because I have for a better term, the privilege of hindsight? It's been 25 years and all this Big Finish stuff has come out and it's gotten better over time. The sound effects are, the technology and the sound have gotten so much better. And the Doctor Who universe has just exploded. I mean, we've got the Paternoster gang. We got Jago and Lightfoot. I mean, it just keeps going on and on and on. But everything started with this little thing, and I just gave it. This was the kid that started it all. And I was wondering, maybe I would have been more lenient if it's kind of like basing Babe Ruth's game on his first day hitting the ball. I'm like, I don't know.
There's another level to that as well, in that there was not at that point in time a lot of audio drama happening.
Yeah.
There was some, but not a lot. So for them to be a profitable company doing it and getting any of this off the ground is
they thought this was a one-off, actually.
Yeah. I used to produce audio dramas. It's a lot of work, even at the small scale, but these, as a resurgence didn't really start clicking in until, call it, mid 2000s, maybe even 2000s. 2007-ish is right. As podcasts were really starting to take off, was kind of where it really started to pick up,
right?
Because there was an easier distribution model. You didn't have to sell a physical CD. It was a little bit easier to record remotely by that point. Whereas when 99, really probably 98, let's be realistic as far as production times, this was insane to be able to do this and to do this as well as they did. The fact that it does hold, like, I'm pretty sure I don't have the Redux download. I think I have the original that I was listening to. And it is, for the most part, perfectly listenable quality-wise right now. My biggest complaint, since I'm up here, I gave it a 7. I have a similar complaint to Gadget in that I find that Peter and Colin sound very much alike at this point. Sylvester is no one rolls those R's like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can always tell when it's him, but those two occasionally I'll wait. And I had the same problem last time. I got in previous times when they've been on there. It's gotten better over the years as they've kind of fallen back into their characters to a lesser extent or a greater extent, I guess. But this is a great first outing, and I agree with you, Christian. If this was, if this was 99, would I have given it a much higher rating? Very likely. I didn't. And again, for someone who is as big of a fan of Sylvester as I am, I did not click with his chapter. The first chapter just kind of went in one ear and out the other. Whereas the U-boat, we're doing 5 on a U-boat, and it's the Germans and all of this craziness going on, and all of that, and you start seeing, you don't even, unless you're a history buff, you're gonna miss some of the Easter eggs that they open later with them. Oh, they didn't sink, the ship, which meant this, that, and the beginning of those dominoes falling. You just didn't catch it, or at least I certainly didn't.
Very subtle. Even for me, who's a history buff, I'm like, is this around the time of the
Yeah, exactly. So it was really interesting, and then it got a little bit more tied in and a little bit more snowbally once you get into 6, and once you got into the 3 of them together in the final chapter, I absolutely adored it. The cheap shot at Sylvester's height, it's like for someone as short as you take up a lot of space. Like,
that was hysterical. Yeah,
bird.
I wonder if that was ad-libbed at that point.
I forgot about that. That was great.
Yeah, like there was just so much great dynamic between those 3, both from a Three Stooges comedy standpoint.
They should get their own show now.
Oh yeah, easily.
The 3 doctors. That's the 3
and
Stooges.
just how the characters of those 3 doctors were able to kind of self-analyze to a certain extent. I have in every iteration these same qualities, just in different mixes.
Mm-hmm.
Is one of the things, and it's like, now that, I mean, anytime you really dissect the Doctor, you can see that, but when it gets stated that bluntly, sometimes it's a little bit more unusual to go, oh yeah, good point, even if you fully know it from, in your head. It doesn't get stated that way as much. So I think it was definitely, like I said, a great first outing. And if I probably would give it definitely a higher rating had this been, if we were recording in 1999, although we wouldn't be, because we wouldn't be live streaming and we wouldn't even have a podcast. But if we were on the radio doing this same show somehow by miracle, timey-wimey, I definitely think I would have given it a higher rating back then than now, because I do love Big Finish and I love these guys and I love really all of this otherwise. But so Christian,
yeah,
you've got you've got a box set there.
I do. Yeah, let's want to open this bad boy.
Yeah, here's my reaction to that.
Oh, God.
She is going to come on the show and give you a what for.
Please,
you know what? Do
please
it, because
do, Sophie.
Yeah, that means she'll come back.
Can you come on and just give them a what?
Sophie,
whatever?
Come give me what for. Please come back on the show and give me what for. And while we're at it, we'll review your next book in front of you, and you can really give us what for.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Christian.
All righty.
He's fighting with the plastic. I definitely sympathize with that.
Well, sometimes trying to get also the Big Finish CD out of the little box is like a pain in the what.
Mm.
Oh,
yeah, I've never owned a physical copy of a Big Finish.
I gotta find where I threw that CD of Sarah Jane. It's
I
somewhere.
have broken many a nail opening a Big Finish.
Oh God.
Hey, I had that thing that looked like a little coupon cutter thing. That's how I used to open my CDs. I found that at one of those the wall. If you remember that store.
Marky makes a good point here as well. BBC can't use Grace
Yeah,
Holloway
Or
because,
Chang Li.
because
Chang Li.
Fox owns her and Chang Li, which is super disappointing because I mean both of those.
But then how did they get the master with Aaron Roberts?
Eric Rupp,
Yeah,
the master,
is different.
is different. The master they own. It's that those two characters
they don't own.
Lead characters were not created by the BBC. They were created for the Fox movie.
That's what my cousin was telling me. He was like telling me all the backstory on it and everything, and he said it's
really
so bad.
And
I did not know that. I didn't know they
Yeah.
did that. Yeah.
My cousin worked for Fox. He was a step below Rupert, and was telling me all the things about. He says, "I got a ton of these Doctor Who." I said, "What are you talking about?" And he's explaining to me how they can't get rid of them now because they can't even send them to UK or anything because the copyrights on the two characters. And I said, "What?" And he explained everything. I was like, "Damn."
Yeah, and E.G. Cho's been on the show as well, talking about it a little bit. And he's
I mean,
been
it's
in
so
Big
bad
Finish
for
a few
them.
times. He's done other characters in Big Finish, but never Chang Li. This is my hope for if the Disney thing continues. Mind Disney does not own Doctor Who. Blah 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 blah. Disney does own Fox, and by extension does own those characters. So the more they work with Doctor Who, maybe.
Yeah, the only time I'm in favor of Disney buying everything Disney. Like, this is the one time you're allowed to buy everything up. Buy everything for Doctor Who. So you
my theory, I've said it before, I'll say it again. My theory on Disney buying everything out is somebody...
Well, it does make the Doctor a princess now. The Doctor is a Disney princess.
Somebody in the back office is getting Disney to buy all of this stuff up because they want to get all of the rights to all of the background material from Muppet Babies.
My friend Eric would love you.
All right.
And the new one is the voice of Fozzie.
Chris is being pained, so we're just going to take him out. He's just waving around in the
he's
background.
not-
Oh, right. He wants to do a thing. That's right.
It's stuck.
Blow on it like a Nintendo game. Blow on it.
Money well spent, huh? Oh my god! Oh god! Finally,
And we have to explain to certain generations what a CD is.
Oh god! No, I'm not going to explain it.
It's a corporate deposit.
There you go. Thank you, Sean.
No, it means that Christian has the right to do whatever he wants with that because he bought the copyright.
Gallifrey is in a state of crisis, facing destruction in the hands of the overwhelming enemy, and the Doctors involved in 3 different incarnations, each caught up in a deadly adventure scattered across time and space. The web of time is threatened, and someone wants the Doctor dead. The 3 incarnations of the Doctor must join to set time back on the right track, but in doing so, will they unleash a greater threat? Written by Nick Briggs, by the way. And here we are. Okay, I see this. This is just one big. It's the huge,
it's the double pack.
The double pack. So this is what it looks like on the inside.
Is Nick Briggs ever going to run the show? By the way, I always wonder that.
Yes.
On our show, he has been.
No, is he ever going to run Doctor Who? Is what I meant.
Oh,
I would love for him to do one episode.
I would totally.
Wow, there's 3 CDs in here.
Oh wow.
2 parts, parts 3 and 4. Oh my god, they separated the parts in the in the bonus disc.
Okay.
Disc bonus behind the scenes. Okay.
And there's no book in there though, right?
I think there is. Hang on a second.
Because if it actually has the words in there, that would be nice.
No, it's just a book, but it's not the letter. By the way, it's that picture that you sent me.
Okay.
It's the exact picture that you sent me. Yeah. Michelle just sent me this picture.
Yep.
That is awesome. And I did not realize until now. There's the picture of the 3 of them.
See, now if they had put the transcript of there in there, that would be really cool to read along with it.
I'm surprised you
Yeah, that would be nice. Kind of like how they include the lyrics to songs in some CD, liner notes. They should just
Maybe it's that generation because I was raised on those storybooks where you put the record on top and you pulled the thing and it was goofy going through, you know what I mean? And you read along like those stories, or it had a little, I gotta find it. It was a little grayish, tannish color thing with a disc on it to read Snow White or Mickey and the 3 Ghosts and everything. You put it on and it would click from Fisher Price. Like those things were ahead of their time for people like me with being dyslexic and everything. Because kids today, the way everything is, I'm surprised they actually have the attention span they do. Because to read along with something makes you more curious about it, you know, like you could see things and then use your imagination better.
I think there's still a fair amount of long form content. I mean, I think podcasts like took off because YouTube started like prioritizing engagement, and that's when like you get like super like 2-hour long podcasts and stuff. So I'm grateful for that.
That's great. Everybody in the audience, hello, JoJo. Thank you.
Hello, JoJo.
Everybody's laughing at me now that I can't open a CD box.
No, that is called a typical Big Finish opening of any double pack. I mean, I have scruffed up so many cuticles. Nick Briggs, you owe me a manicure.
You'll probably do it too.
These are very delicate, okay? When you have to like to get it open and you're sweating, you're cussing on your breath.
You don't want to see what mine look like.
Yeah.
Every Big Finish box set is like it's more difficult to open than like the Pandorica. You literally have to have a space-time event to open the. Yeah.
And if you're a collectible fan, try not to rip the thing because it is like don't one little thing, one little nick and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, CDs was really I've actually damaged DVDs like that when they started putting those stupid tabs on the DVDs like in the 2010s. Yeah.
I just hate it when because I have a ton of like the Big Finish CDs, and those CD boxes break so easily. And I mean that the value's it's gone unless you get another box and take.
Don't open it.
Well, there's some that aren't opened yet. I mean, I bought them. I bought the audio for the app, so I wouldn't open them. But it's just like, you know, I want one day and maybe have the people sign it. By the way, my friend here, Jojo, there she is. Jojo, do me a favor. Put your link from TikTok on here. And we'll put it in for everybody to see out there. So thank you for joining us, Jojo. Appreciate it. What else we got? Christian has a problem opening the CDs because it's more modest than vinyl.
Hey, no. Vinyl made a comeback. Vinyl made a comeback.
That's true. Vinyl made a comeback, big boy. So
I even have one record down here from 70 something that is not supposed to be known. Song of the South. I actually have a mint condition Song of the South.
Wow, that's if you could give that to Disney. If you give that to Disney, they could buy out the rights to all the characters from the 1996 film. It's probably worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Next thing you hear knocking on the door.
Yep. Oh, and yes, we can play now with Mickey as long as we get the side profile Mickey, because there's another Mickey that went into the public domain. And everything.
The beer swilling, cigar smoking, galloping gaucho.
Mm-hmm. And so did Popeye, the old Popeye.
Yeah.
Let me
And there's him getting his powers from spinach doesn't count. I'm like, does it? Because I don't think you can actually copyright spinach.
Good point.
And I think Tarzan just entered into public domain too. And there's a whole bunch of characters that just went in on January 1st.
Tintin and everything, yeah.
Tintin, some of the early Agatha Christie stuff is going into public domain.
Yep.
Which is good for Doctor Who then, because they can go more into Agatha Christie stories now.
As long as it's like her early 20s stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and all of the Sherlock Holmes stories are now in the public domain.
Oh yeah.
Great Gatsby. All of Fitzgerald's stories have gone into public domain.
I'm wondering if we can see more Doctor Who episodes based on these now, because they can go back and go into them, because now it's in the public domain.
Yeah, as long as it was written before 1925 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny that Disney is in control of Doctor Who, and they're basically the reason why public domain was like 20 years pushed back.
Yeah.
We see Doctor Who and Winnie the Pooh together.
Yeah.
You know,
Dr. Pooh.
One children's hospital in London keeps fighting about Peter Pan because Peter Pan's about ready to go into public domain.
Oh yeah.
Because J.M. Barrie gave him the full rights to the story as long as they didn't disclose how much they made from it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There actually is a Doctor Who with Winnie the Pooh, and it's the fourth Doctor.
Well, that's fitting. That just seems to make sense.
Yeah.
And there's even a Deadpool one too.
Yeah, there's definitely.
You guys think since it's Disney, we're ever gonna get like a Doctor Who Star Wars crossover or anything weird like that? Doctor Who and Marvel.
Don't give them ideas.
They already did Star Trek.
Marvel,
You know,
yes.
they already did Star Trek and everything. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
And,
he did say that. Didn't he?
Christian is fond of saying Doctor Who is a Marvel character.
Mm-hmm.
A Disney princess, a Marvel character, and yeah.
Yeah, but don't
At
put
this
them
point,
on.
don't give them any more bad ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
It's head. Yeah, it's head. Yeah, it's head.
No, all Disney has to do is leave the TARDIS in Disney World and Disneyland and stop taking it out. Leave it in UK. Leave it with the UK, please.
Yeah, I want like a fully operational TARDIS ride. I mean, we can make, and you have to be able to drag Sutek through the time vortex, like right.
Oh,
yes, that's funny.
Take Sutek for a walk on Disney World.
Honestly, they could just revamp the Guardians of the Galaxy ride.
Oh.
It wouldn't actually be that hard.
That'd be bananas.
Drag a dog with a magic.
And it is connected because Karen was part of Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, it is a Who connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to put us on the panel. You know, and you have to have Shooty. Shooty has to be on every ride. He has to stand there and go, "I'm bringing death to death." He has to do it every single ride. That's his job all day.
I've always said if they're going to do a like a roller coaster ride, something, you should be able to hit a button and push and gives you the audio of the Doctor as you're riding here. You can hear the third Doctor on the adventure, and then next time you can hear the fourth Doctor. Next time you can hear the 10th Doctor. I mean, I just thought that would be cool.
Since the Doctor Who experience closed down, there's no way to do something like, you know what I mean? Because that was interesting.
Disney has the means. I'm sure they have the budget they really wanted to. But I
get people to the park. I mean, you know, they're trying to fight with Universal right now. So I mean, you know, because technically the Simpsons has to migrate over sometime soon.
Yeah. All the fighting all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Am I having a heartbeat? Or am I
Someone's alarm's going off.
Got nothing here.
It's the heartbeat of a Time Lord.
Is that you, Sean?
It was not. I wasn't going to say anything, but
I checked mine. I checked mine. It was not, in fact,
yeah,
mine.
nothing's on over here, and I've got the microphone low.
It's Disney chopping the wires.
That's right, Disney's on this.
Yep, we're being watched.
Hey, Disney, if you want to buy this, it's cheap. So
I did have
Go ahead, Sean.
So I meant to ask this earlier, but we kind of moved on. But so was this story? Was this produced before they were actually bought by Big Finish? I listened to. I don't know if you guys ever watch Clever Dick Films on YouTube that does like the documentaries about each Doctor. But I thought he said that during the Wilderness years, like this was produced before it was formally purchased by Big Finish. Is that true?
No idea.
Okay. That might be just me completely misremembering that. Like,
was it a purchase or was it they bought the
like a distribution? I guess I should say, because I mean they would have had to get licensing, but I thought maybe it was like that the guys got licensing, and then Big Finish decided to distribute it like that. I thought maybe it was something like that, but I could be wrong about that.
Oh, that's a good question. If anybody knows the answer, just throw it in the chats for us.
Yeah.
One of the things we didn't address, and I feel so bad about this because my head was about to explode, but this was also Maggie Stable's intro into Big Finish. If anybody knows Maggie Stables, she played, God, what was her name for the Sixth Doctor companion?
Evelyn
Smythe. Yeah, Evelyn
Oh,
Smythe.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I remember her.
She played Ruthie, and I was just like, that's kind of why I dropped my score, because I was like, Ruthie, get that. Was the most annoying character, and I was like, oh God, it's her. I don't want to put Maggie Stables down for this.
Was she in a Jubilee? Because Jubilee is like one of my favorite.
I believe so, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They play an old audio of her in there going, somebody calls up darling, I got a idea you're gonna play like this crocodile something character. She's like, sign me on.
Yeah, did you guys think that this story was kind of like a more serious version of The Chase? Like this, like with the have you guys seen The Chase? first
Not in a
Doctor?
lot of years.
No.
It's a ridiculous story. I mean, it's got Daleks, it's got the Beatles, it's got like, a bunch of guys doing a very bad Southern accent. Sorry to those actors. And like, it's the
British.
Daleks.
You just cannot do Southern accents. Don't even try.
Yeah, don't try.
It's. I mean, and by Southern, I mean like American Southern. Like,
Yes.
they're doing the
that's
whole.
what I mean too.
Yeah. So like, and they're like it's a ridiculous. It's actually the departure story for Ian and Barbara. And it's like the Daleks are chasing them through time for like some sort of distortion thing, and they end up on a boat, and they end up like in like the wilderness, and it kind of reminded me of this because I'm like, okay, now we're here. It kind of reminded me of like a less silly version of that.
Ironically, that was also going to be the third Daleks movie with Peter Cullen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was the plan for the third.
Yeah, because it was Doctor Who and the Daleks, and then what was the other one?
Yeah, 2000 something.
The Dalek Master Plan.
The Dalek Master Plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the chasing the third one.
Something.
We've definitely done some. We should go back to that one of these days. We never did finish our Doctors. Sean, we did it. We actually, I don't think any of you, other than I don't even know if Christian was on those. Were you on those episodes where we kind of regenerated forward from Collins? We did a handful of episodes where we went, what if the Doctor, the movies in its own timeline with no rules to the
I was there. I forgot the person.
Who would you like to see as the next Doctor? And
If
the one after that,
if Cushing could regenerate, what would be the second Doctor? Since it's
okay.
We did at least 2 episodes on it. I think we got up to 6 or 7.
Okay.
We'll be there. It'll be another 3 episodes
before. Easily. And then we might get up to New Who.
Yeah, see, I never finished the Cushing movies because I knew I started to watch.
What was I saying? I was saying Cullen's.
Well, I just thought they were kind of weird. But I mean, like as far as alternate Doctor Who timelines, like I have like a whole thing about that. I still don't know why we've never had like a Doctor Who animated children's show. It just seems like so obvious when the Doctor.
We almost did in the 90s.
We almost did.
Yeah, I mean, I have Scream of the Shalka on DVD, and I unapologetically.
Well, you've seen the anime, right?
Huh.
Thanks, Mark.
There we go.
Doctor Who and the Daleks and the Invasion Earth 2150. So
I will go and shred my geek card for saying Colin's not Cushing because I'm an idiot.
You've only
we did get the year right.
You're fair.
Yeah.
You're fine. You have an excuse.
That's fair.
I messed up Eric Roberts' name. I called him Aaron. We're all good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are hitting the 90-minute mark.
Gotcha. And
we could keep rambling forever, I'm sure.
We do.
But we should not.
Well, but I got an announcement. First of all, I want to show this again because Faith really knocked this ball out of the theme park out there. So, she's got it in the description for this episode and practically all the episodes she does the thumbnails. You can check her site out, but especially on the Instagram at 101 Cosplays to see. Faith is an awesome job, but she really nailed Joy hard. I'm like spitting image out there. Speaking of which, you're going to see Dave, Faith, Jessica, and myself at MegaCon. It's just around the corner, guys. I mean, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, do so. MegaCon, let me get the dates back up. It's January 6th through the 9th.
January?
Yeah.
Sorry, February 6th. Yeah, it's right around the corner. It's that close. So, yeah. You said Aaron Roberts, so leave me alone. So, MegaCon will be taking place February 6th through the 9th, all four weekends. The guest list is incredible. Let me go ahead and see if I can hang on. Let me
I'm going to react.
Shut it. Jeez.
No.
How much trouble are you getting me into?
As much as I humanly can.
I know you could. Let me share screen. I hope this works. There you go. Did that work?
Yes, it did.
Okay, cool. So I'm at the guest list is off the charts as far as I'm concerned. Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. Of course, Matt Smith, Ron, all the Howards. When I say all the Howards. Ron, Bryce Dallas, and Clint are going to be there. From Stranger Things. I don't know who Joseph Quinn is. Huh. My brain's on that.
He wrote up.
Oh, okay. We got Matt Smith, Jodie Whittaker, 2 doctors out there. The entire Breakfast Club. Ali Sheedy, Molly Ringwald, Judd Nelson. I think his picture is going to be coming up over here. Dante Basco, who's at every convention that I can possibly think of. You love Deadpool? There's Morna Backer, and I believe that's how you pronounce her name. You like Superman? It's Tom Welling. He's going to be out there. Twilight's going to be out there. I'm hoping she'll have the kid by this time. I hope I've been taking care of things. But Jenna Coleman and Mandip Gill will be out there. Hey, Penny Winkler is going to be out there as well. Another Superman, Tyler Hoechlin. Gosh, I mean, look at the list. We got Billy Piper, Freeman Agumon, Arthur Darvill. They're going to be out there. Alex Kingston, Catherine Tate. I wonder if I'm missing anything. Technically, Mark Shepard. He'll be out there. There's Clint. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Ashley Eckstein, we've actually had her on the show. God. And Happy Days, just to throw in that little ditty. So we got Happy Days coming out over there. So if you're a Supernatural, definitely Doctor Who. Who other guests are going to be out there? And we do have 2 panels that we'll be hosting. One is going to be a cosplay panel, and the other one is going to be Who's Your Companion. We'll get more details as we get out there. But meet the stars of Smallville, meet the stars of Superman and Lois. They already ended the series, didn't they? Of Superman and Lois, right?
Yeah,
they did. Yeah.
I heard it was I heard it's like get your tissue box out. The group of the Flash, of course, the WHOniverse out there. 6 actors. Oh, they don't have Alex and Donna out here, so we got 2 more to settle, guys. You're behind on your website. So there you go. We're going to be out there June 6th and 9th with the Dalek Builders of Florida. Get your tickets now at MegaCon. And yeah, Jojo, that's a crazy lineup for MegaCon this year. I'm sorry, I'm going to be missing it. Yeah, it's okay. We'll have tons of pictures out there. Don't forget to put your link on here, Jojo. So the week I leave from Orlando, take another week back and get Tom out there.
I've been telling him that for ages.
Fig, I'm stuck in Colorado. I'm sorry, Candace.
No excuse, Candace. I am driving from Alberta.
He's driving from Alberta all the way down to Florida. Go figure. I'm stuck.
Safe travels, my friend.
And Joseph Quinn was so big in LFCC, it causes so much problems because the oversold the photo he played Eddie Munson. Oh, wow. He looks really different. Jesus. Okay. Got a nice haircut and trim. And there you go, Jojo. It's filtered. My link is there you go over at TikTok without the space. So she put it out there. So, guys, who wants to go first? Where can people find you, Gadget? I'll let you know when your audio comes back on. You can let people know when the audio. There we go.
There we are. Okay, the audio is bad and everything. Yeah, you just throw a stone, you find me. If you're in New York City, you can find me. Bronx, New York, and everything. I'm always spotted at the DMV and everything. Please, it'll make wonderful fun there, and everything and stuff. But you can find me on lulu.com with my books and everything. You know, Dungeons and Dragons for kids and adults, and my trip to England when you guys want to find out what happened and everything, you know. But yeah, I'm around and I'm working on trying to get to some of the conventions. I'm trying to get Anime NYC since I missed the last pre-sale. I'm hoping to get this pre-sale coming up in about a week or so and everything, because it's hard. I'm gonna be honest, when you're a caretaker and you want to do these conventions, and I really wish I could be with you guys next month, but that would mean I would have to win a lottery ticket. And
Jojo says she needs your books. So where could she find you? Where she could find your books?
Oh, lulu.com. Sometimes Amazon has them and everything. But mostly lulu.com. And especially this one, if you have dyslexia and autism, I designed this because I could never play certain Dungeons and Dragons games or Magic the Gathering. And I've designed it in such a way that you can actually help. Like, we had our junior dungeon master who had autism, and he won the game over a regular person and everything. And it's all self-explanatory. And there's supposed to be 3 more books coming out once I can get them typed out.
Sean, where can people find you, my friend?
Thanks. Yeah, they can find me on YouTube at Our Philosophy Is, and I make some Doctor Who content. It's not all Doctor Who content, but I have 2 videos in particular I'm pretty proud of. One is called Some Thoughts on Genesis of the Daleks. I made that one relatively recently. And I also made another video where I rank all the Doctors, not by how good they are, but by their charisma and by their riz. So if you like fun, ridiculous things like that, you can find me at Our Philosophy Is.
We definitely do. Michelle,
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
I am available on Facebook, Michelle of the TARDIS Archives. Also, my book Haunted Fragsburg is available on Amazon in the US and in the UK.
Gotcha. And Dave, where can people find you? Wait a minute.
You can find me on therathole.ca or the rathole.ca, depending on what platform you're looking at. There's my YouTube right there. I may or may not be live later today with a little bit of the Night Cage. Depends on how I feel. I've been trying to stream it for a couple of days, and it hasn't quite worked. But that's one of the games I opened up last week on the show. You'll be able to find me at MegaCon. You'll be able to find me at Pensacon, Gamma Expo if you're a gamer type. SaltCon outside Salt Lake City. I'll be all over the place, and I'll probably do a couple of lives. I'm working on a show called Any Night right now. I'll see if I can do something from the set there. That'll be my next few weeks. But other than that, you can also, of course, find me here most weeks on The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Oh, yeah. Candace, I think, what's the name again? I think Candace is addressing Gadget one more time.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
You're famous today.
I'm sorry I took the limelight. But I'm freezing here in New York. It's like -3, guys, and everything. That's a fake fire back there. This one is the unofficial guide for kids and adults under 10 and a few or whatever. It's on lulu.com. This is about Dungeons and Dragons. And like, if you have autism, dyslexia, it's a good book. Like, if you just want to get your feet wet in playing the games, I even have templates in there. I have all these other things. And there's a junior dungeon master and a regular dungeon master. I broke it down that way because with my neurodivergency and the way dyslexia is, I could never play. And it hurts because I love strategic games. I love like escape rooms, everything and stuff. And this, when we tested it, came out really good and everything and stuff. And there was supposed to be 3 more books based on a certain doctor and another one based on a certain starship and everything. Because this one's wizards and metallurgy. And we go into about metal things. And like, you have to follow the story in there. This one is about my trip in 2016 to find out if I actually found true love or not by going to Copley, Newcastle, UK. And I got to go to the Doctor Who experience, but because of copyright, it's written a different way in here and everything. I got to see certain things, but at the same time, if you guys read it, you'll either know if I found true love or not, but some people can guess right away and everything. But it ended up being 408 pages of my story and everything. So if you're in for a good read, it's almost like having 3 books in one and everything, because the way I broke it down and stuff. And it's pretty good. And they're both at lulu.com. And if you want, this is the title for this one by like that. And again, this one, same thing, author. And then if everybody can take a screenshot and everything. But yeah, lulu.com has them mostly. And there was going to be a photo book of the trip and everything too. But like, life gets out of hand and everything. So hopefully I'll have the photo book to match Copley. And like I said, the 3 other books once they're printed out and everything.
Today's show has been brought to you by Gadget Books. Everybody's interested.
Michelle, do you have anything?
definitely getting the official D&D guide first. Well, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Candace is definitely wanting that. So,
and then, like, does Michelle have anything? Also, her books and everything? Because I like her books too.
Oh no, let's just keep going. Let's just make the books. Okay, and everybody, don't forget. Thank you so much for getting us over. What was it? 47,000 YouTube subscribers, and recently we just got an over 76,000 Facebook. God, I love you guys wherever you are. Thank you so much for supporting us. Don't forget to get your tickets at MegaCon. We're going to be joining forces with the Dalek Builders of Florida, and we're going to be at the community center together with all 8 celebrities. Anybody taking bets on which ones are going to kick it out? Kick it like that. Just go like
I would love if
this has happened before.
How about this? If the stars are listening, I dare them to go to your panels and surprise you guys and just show up and be like, any questions from the audience? And they show up at every microphone there and go, what's with that picture of Sophie? What's with this going on? You know what I mean? I want to see all the cast members surprise you guys because you deserve it, you know?
And my reaction to that will be...
Do you want Sophie to have like a restraining order on you? You keep that.
No, I want to see him walking around. It's kind of cool if you ever see Sylvester walking around out there.
Because I know Sylvester might go in to listen and everything and stuff. Like, you can even put a note on the door, say, all Doctor Who cast welcome. Let the Doctor Who cast in, you know?
Yeah.
All right, we don't have to go home, but we can't stay here. Everybody go ahead and don't forget to say good night to Rose, and we are out. Thank you.
Actually, it should be Clementine now. We should say good night to Clementine.
I don't have a picture of Clementine, and I'm not going to put a doggy picture in front of the base of Clementine. That's going to be so rude. So everybody say good night, Rose.
Terrible.
Good night, Rose.
Good night,
All
Rose.
right.
Good night.
Tony, take us out. Get us out of here.